How can you have more fun with your writing? I hope to give you some ideas in this vlog. This is a long one, so you might want to play it in the background while you write or do other things. By the way, if you missed last week's video, watch that first. This is week 2 of how to write a novella in 2 weeks. Good morning! A bit of a change of scene for the beginning of week 2. Here we are. It's a bit later today because I took everything off my desk and I wiped it clean. It's still not doing it for me completely. Like I feel like, okay, I mean that's that needs fixing. And I feel like I need to decorate. I feel like it needs a bit of autumn vibes. It's still kind of in summer. And I was thinking, and I found my skull doilies. I put these out every year. I don't really do Halloween decorating, but who knows? Maybe I will begin. But yeah, they clearly need to be blocked a bit because they are all scrunched up. But yeah, let's do something. Let's make this work. This is also really cool. This is from Sepia Accessories, I think, or Designs, based in Istanbul. The end of this dip pen comes off, and you can hide a little note in it, and it has like Latin phrases all over it, so really cool if you're studying Latin and you're a dark academic, of course. This is an inkwell. You can see his eyes glowing. Right. Let's get some writing done. I'm so excited. So I just spent a few minutes just going over each scene and checking which day each of them took place in. So I entered a number for whenever there was a new day, just in the outline in Scrivener, so that I have a better idea of how much time has passed and what day of the week it might be, so I don't put lectures on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe they could have lectures on Saturdays, but most likely they would be doing other things on the weekend, so yeah. It's a good thing to keep track of if you're writing a novel. So far we are on day 9. I also wanted to mention that contrary to what I said earlier about polishing things as I went along, here's the very first chapter, and if I have things I want to add, or I just don't feel like writing something at a certain point, then I will just put a note in square brackets and move on. I'll also just put in underscores where I can't be bothered to making up a name. I have enormous trouble making up names sometimes. So if you have the same trouble, then just skip it. It's fine. You can come back to it later. It'll probably have figured itself out by then anyway. But yeah, just thought I'd mention that. I happen to remember that I have one of these contraptions that's supposed to help you block crochet, knitting, things like that. It might be a bit small, but I've never actually tried it. As you can see, it's in its box. It has these metal rods that you're supposed to stick in these holes, I think. Let's see if we can work it out. I think these are a stand. Pass. Well, looks a bit grim, doesn't it? Reminds me of the tarot suit of swords. I'm going to add this magic potion from Derwent. I'm just kidding, it's just water. I do hope the wood will be alright with this. I mean, it is designed for this purpose, so one would hope so. One would hope so. Good morning. It is day 8. Or is it? No, it's day 9, I think. Anyway, week 2, day 2. Hermes is keeping me company as always. I think I might reach the halfway mark today. That would be pretty exciting. Started writing a scene in the graveyard last night. Ooh, spooky. How's your novel going? Are you writing along with me? I hope it's going splendidly. It's almost October. The weather is delightful. The house is freezing. I'm thinking I might go for a walk today. Maybe I'll stop off and find some autumn decoration. Maybe I'll even go to a cafe. But first, a spot of tasseography. Tell me, what do you see? What is in my future? Is there a novel in there? Is there a novella? I think I see one. I think I do. Oh, quite beautiful, whatever it is. Okay. Just wondering. Seeing those typewriters the other day reminded me of my grandfather's typewriter that I inherited. As you can see, it has a Turkish keyboard, an F keyboard, so it's a bit tricky to use. But what I really wanted was to be able to type up the 8 stages of the one-page novel. I just thought it would add a nice personal touch to this cheat sheet that I'm working on. It might be up by the time you're watching this, so take a look on my website. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how that turned out. I did a test on here. As soon as I put caps lock on, all the keys jammed, even though they worked on shift, so I don't know what the explanation is for that. But yeah, I love typewriters, but I couldn't write my novel on it. Back to the laptop. Good morning. It's day 10, I think, and I'm at 28,000 words. We passed the halfway mark yesterday. I realized I forgot to tell you the results of my amazing shopping trip because it was precisely nothing, big fat nothing. I found absolutely zilch. At least I blocked my skull doily, so that looks quite nice. You can see more of the detail now instead of the scrunched up mess it was before. But yeah, I mean, in terms of decorating my desk, I think we're gonna have to DIY it. Good morning, day 12, 31,000 words. That's all I have to say. Also, doilies are so underrated. This is totally helping me type because my desk is uneven and the keyboard rattles on it. So this isn't just aesthetic, this is function. My decor is coming together. I have faith. I have faith that this is going to work. Good afternoon. I'm sorry I didn't say good morning this morning. It's unforgivably rude of me. Here's the progress with the desk decor. I have a whole bunch of inks out because I want to do some ink swatching. It might be a bit late today though because the days are getting shorter, and as you can see, the sun's going down as we speak. I have been stealing from Christmas to enrich my autumn decorating. This is also from the Christmas pile. It's one of those IKEA battery light things. And then I have a hand. Do you need a hand with your novel? So my idea is to go a bit more celestial, mystic with this decor than, you know, maybe of traditional autumnal decor. So that arrangement needs work. I will be on it. And yeah, this isn't working, so we will deal with everything in due course. This is where we are with a novel, probably more important. And here is my pumpkin progress. Pumpkin progress and novel progress. Sort of on a par. Just tying up a few loose ends. Ugh, I hate weaving in ends. Luckily with a project like this, you can just tuck them inside. You don't have to deal with them. I love it. So I just had the most delicious shower ever. But right before I got into the shower, I put on a clay mask and I sat down to write a scene while it dried. And the scene I wrote, it was a dialogue about the character's father's death. And so of course, I started crying. It was messy. So yeah, it was this scene set in the dining room. I don't know how much of it will stay the same, but yeah, it got me. Writing tip of the day is don't put on a clay mask and make a sad speech. Which sounds quite cryptic out of context. But it's still good advice, so yeah. Good morning. I've lost count of what day it is, but it's a lovely sunny Saturday. There you go. That is my progress. I'm so excited to get back to my characters. This has been such a fun project. And we're nearing the end. And I don't know if you noticed, but I sneakily started writing a little bit of book 2. And it starts with a letter. And I think it's probably one of my favorite tips for getting unstuck if you're writing something, is just to write a letter from one of your characters to another. So, no spoilers, but there's my writing tip for this morning. It's only 8 a.m. Who knows what more the day will bring? Probably more mess, by the looks of it. I don't know how this happens, but it happens quite regularly. I need to finish my pumpkin today, and I think I'll go for a walk as well. Ooh, gorgeous. Good morning, day 14. I'm afraid I didn't leave my characters in a very pleasant situation last night, but I think this might be the day that I finish the story. It might not be 50,000 words, but I think the story might be finished. And then I'll have to decide if I want to go back and add anything, or maybe I will work on the next book until I get to 50k. I don't know. I don't know if the number really matters once the story's finished. And then it'll just be a matter of starting the edits. Also finishing my autumn decor, which now looks worse than it did before because I had to get my ink bottles out of the box. And obviously I couldn't put them back. So that's the situation this morning. This has been such an amazing couple of weeks. It's felt like a whole month. I don't even know. When I started playing this game, I think it was around the beginning of the month, I had no idea it would lead me, to a finished project. Almost finished. Also didn't get to have a walk yesterday, so I'll go do that in a bit. Well, I went for a walk and now I'm back, but I didn't take my camera, so I guess you'll just have to take my word for it. I picked up these 2 candlesticks from the supermarket. I think they will do nicely for my autumn into Christmas decor. And I also found this little owl among our things. I'm a wise owl and I don't give a hoot. And I also found some candidates. I know it's a bit of a shame to paint these, but I am going to try to spray paint them and hope that they give me a nice black aesthetic arrangement. So yeah, that's the plan. I don't want to waste too much time, obviously, because I've got a novel to finish. Also, this might be the most useful tool I've bought, like especially in terms of, you know, the ratio of size to usefulness. It's just brilliant. Look at these little scissors. Snip, snip. So I just finished listening to this, Agatha Christie Poirot by Mark Aldrich. It was really interesting. I really enjoyed learning more about how the books and the stories came about, especially the story collections. I always found it kind of confusing looking through the catalogues, like why some short stories reminded me of other things, and I realized it's because a lot of them were reworked for novels or, you know, included in different story collections, and titles were changed between the US and UK markets and so on. So that's very interesting in terms of, you know, the history of the writing of Poirot, and also like Christie's relationship with him, that she wasn't particularly fond of him at times, but then maybe she came to like him a bit more. I definitely want to pick up her autobiography, which isn't something I would consider very often. I also really like this quote where she says, "I don't think I should like to be young now. We used to live such a splendid, idle, lazy life. I never went to school, and I had all the time I liked to imagine and think things. Today everyone seems to work, and I suppose you'd feel left out if you didn't. I dare say it's nobler, but we had much more fun." I really like that. So yeah, it went over the books and the short stories, and then film and TV, and then sort of Poirot's appearances in other works, and foreign language adaptations, and an anime, I think, which sounded really interesting. I'll have to look that up. And some continuation stories. So yeah, I made some notes. I thought it was really good. I recommend. I found my skull shawl. Black wool always reminds me of Heart of Darkness. punch punch, first of the month. Here's the final word count. 47,000 for the first draft. I am now going to compile this, and I think I'm going to reduce the font size a bit so that it's not quite as many pages. And then I'm going to go down to the copy shop, not the coffee shop, but the copy shop, and get this printed so that I can start the edits. I am so looking forward to the edits, especially the line edits. I love line edits. I just love messing around with sentences. I don't know how much of that I'll share because I still have a lot of editing to do to get these vlogs out. Hopefully it won't be too long before you see these. You'll be able to tell from the date. Although, you know, you can be watching it many years into the future, and hopefully you still gain some insights and some inspiration from it. This has been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you again soon.